everyone. Watch till the end of the video for a surprise. I'll see you there. This took place many years ago when I was a late teen. It was a warm summer afternoon. My friends and I were getting together with nothing to do. One of the group had a car, so we decided to drive out to another friend's house and see if he wanted to hang out. Another girl in the group had a crush on him and talked the driver into this. We get to his house, a trailer, on a really small lake, about an hour before sundown. The friend was not home, and this was before everyone had a cell phone. So, we just decided to hang out in the car, listen to music, and wait to see if he came home. Like I said, we had nothing better to do. And while we were entertaining ourselves, we noticed a car on the other side of the lake, a pretty classic one. It looked just like Stephen King's Christine. Red Plymouth Fury. Most likely same year or a similar one. We started making jokes about the car being in love with the person that we were trying to visit, and that he was really in her trunk. You know, the evil red car. Eventually, we fell asleep. Friend gets home and knocks on the window to wake us. Then, we all go in his house and play some board games and stuff, and also chatted. We told him our joke about Christine kidnapping him. We commented on the pretty red car. He gave us a funny look and said, "What red car?" So we went outside to point it out. There was a street light directly over it, so there were no issues seeing it clearly. But now, it was light blue. This lake was small, and the car was about as far as 2 city blocks would be. No reason that we could not see it before or after. Plymouth Furies aren't exactly a common car, and I can't imagine a red one driving away to be replaced with a blue one in the same spot in a few hours. Well, we are still relieved that it just changed color instead of coming to life and going on a murder spree.
I think I'm stuck in the Matrix by Fast Profit 2212. Yes, the title sounds ridiculous, and I'm aware how crazy I'm going to sound, but please, just hear me out. Every day, I wake up at 10:32. My partner brings me the same coffee with 2 sugars and milk in the same mug. As I'm about to drink my brew, my cat jumps up on the bed and sits on my chest. I smoke a cigarette whilst my partner plays a game of online poker. At 11 o'clock, I open the curtains, and outside, I always see the same red car drive past, and then a black one follows, but gets stuck at the red light, which I can see from every window on the front of our house. I've never thought much of this part because it could just be coincidence. But here is where it starts getting weird. When I go into the kitchen, there's always these 3 same cups and 1 plate to be washed and the same amount of cat food in the cat bowl. When we turn on the TV, the same TV show, American Dad, is ready to play. Even though we don't watch that in the living room, I normally watch it on Disney Plus in the bedroom when I'm falling asleep. My friend always calls me at 12:30 with the same conversation that we had the day before, but we never discuss having a phone call at 12:30. My partner makes me the same ham sandwich for me at 1 o'clock. It always looks exactly the same, with the mayo dripping from the left side. My cat always comes across the sofa from the window to where I sat, but always meows at me 3 times first. My toilet routine is always the exact same, going to the toilet at the same time, doing the same thing every day. Every time we eat, I end up with chicken, mash, and veggies. The same pigeon sits on the fence, and I know it's the same because one of its feet is scrunched up and it stays there until we go to bed. We go to bed at 8, The annoying car goes past playing the same song, Gorilla's Dare. Then my sister calls on FaceTime at 8:30 and always ends the call at 9:47. I roll a spliff and watch Family Guy. It seems to be the same episode, or they all blur into one and it seems like I've watched them before. My partner falls asleep at 10 and last night I just had enough. I can't make out whether I'm crazy, in a mental routine, or in a glitch in the Matrix because this is driving me insane. I really need answers or help or just someone to tell me to shut the F up. I have tried to change the day by going to the park or seeing friends or inviting them around, going to the gym to break up the morning. I have tried changing what I eat or playing music. I even stayed away from the house for a full week. Literally so many things, but nothing changes. If people want proof, I will take pictures or videos, anything. I'm honestly getting to the point of moving homes now. This has only started when lockdown did, like a year and a half ago. Sorry for my grammar mistakes, I'm dyslexic. First edit. Someone commented to check my FaceTime records between me and my sister, and all that I found was that she hasn't been FaceTiming me. I've been FaceTiming her with unanswered calls. Also checked my calls from my friend at 12:30, and none exist at this time anywhere. This is strange. Second edit will be around 6:30 after I've spoken to my partner, sister, and friend all together. Second edit. Sorry guys, I never mentioned that I have epilepsy. It turns out that I've been having facial seizures throughout the day for a while. My partner has told me I walk around and talk to the windows and have been none the wiser. So yay, I'm going to have a call with my neurologist. Sorry about this post, I feel like a right twat, but hey, maybe it's something we can all laugh about together.
So I know this is gonna sound weird and ridiculous, but the craziest thing happened at Walmart yesterday that kind of freaked me out for a while. So me and my girlfriend go to Walmart pretty frequently. It's cheap and sometimes they have really cool Disney and anime shirts and stuff that we like, and it's only 5 minutes from our house. So she told me that she was gonna check the women's clothes to see if they have any biker shorts, while I was gonna go to the men's section to see if they had any new anime or Disney shirts. We decided that I would just meet back with her since the registers are right in front of the women's clothes, and then we would go. When I was done checking the men's stuff, I see my girlfriend walk towards the food section, and in my head, I was wondering why she was going there. So I started following her to catch up to her, and I see her suddenly turn left. So I ran and then turned left, and no one was there. It was an empty aisle, and I was kind of confused, so I ran some more looking for her, thinking that she was messing with me, and maybe went to the next aisle. And legit, there wasn't anybody near there, and I was confused on where she would have gone. So I decided to call her up and said, "Hey, where are you? And why did you go to the food aisle? I told you that I'd meet back up with you in the women's clothes." And she said, "I am in the women's clothes. I've been in the same spot." Immediately, I said, "I just saw you walk here," referring to the section that I'm at, and she was really confused. I ran towards the women's section and found her and told her what happened and what I saw, and she said maybe I mistook someone else for her. But my girlfriend is a pretty distinct girl. She's 5'9" and has really long blonde hair and is decked out completely in Disney. She was definitely weirded out but kind of shrugged it off. But honestly, I have no clue what happened. I was only like 7 feet from her when she turned the aisle, and I don't think she would have made it all the way down to the next aisle by the time that I turned into it. And I ran around the entire vicinity looking for her because I thought it was weird. She was legit trying on clothes when I met back up with her at the women's section. So, who the hell did I see? Or what was it? The fact that this happened at Walmart, of all places, is weird in itself, but it really did freak me out. I know, people are gonna think, oh, you just saw someone who looked like your girlfriend. But she was wearing something very specific. A Disneyland jersey, which you get only from the park with Disney Crocs. And we live in a retirement town near a res in the valley, so not many 5'9" blonde girls decked out in Disney here. Plus, the girl I saw disappeared basically into thin air. So even if it was a girl who looked like my girlfriend, it was still weird as hell.
So, here's my glitch story. April 2017. My band was on a road trip to Roswell, New Mexico, of all places to play a gig. And I believe it was somewhere in Missouri at night that we stopped at a rest stop. No idea exactly where we were, but I remember saying to my bandmates as we pulled into the lot that this place gave me Twilight Zone vibes. It just had an eerie sort of presence to it, and I like that kind of shit, so it wasn't necessarily a bad thing. So, I don't even know what the other two guys were up to. They may have just stayed in the car. But what I do know is that me and the bass player had to go inside and piss. This is just your normal setup of a parking lot out front of a rest stop off a highway. I don't smoke anymore, but back then I did. Me and the bassist decide to smoke a cigarette first before going inside to pee. He offers me a cig and ensues to call up his girlfriend to update her on how the trip is going. So I'm just standing there smoking and chilling, and he's standing next to me smoking and on the phone. We are both out front of the entrance to the rest stop, and we are both facing outwards towards the parking lot with our backs to the entrance of the building. Suddenly, while still on the phone, the bassist starts casually walking back out towards the van in the parking lot. I see him walking away, and his voice grew more and more distant. I don't recall how far away we parked, but there's only one lot, and I remember just seeing him walk into the distance in front of me, still on the phone with his girlfriend. This confused me, as I thought he had to go inside to piss, but I didn't give a shit, and I was finishing my cigarette as the moment unfolded. So I just shrugged and put out my cigarette and immediately turned around to head inside the rest stop building. As soon as you get inside, it's completely empty, but you have to walk straight down this hallway to get to the bathroom. I remember there was some sort of Route 66 clock that had a spiral shape or something directly above us as you entered the hallway. It just overall had a Twilight Zone sort of vibe to it. I don't know how exactly to explain this experience. So, I'm walking down the hall and get into the bathroom, and I hear someone in the stall who is talking on the phone. His voice sounds exactly like my bassist. No one else is in the bathroom. I can't see who is in there, but I'm standing at the urinal pissing and laughing about how weird it is that this guy sounds so similar to my bandmate. But I know for a fact it can't be him, as it would be physically impossible for him to have gotten into the bathroom before me when I had literally just saw him head out towards a car in the parking lot about 20 to 30 seconds earlier at most. I even said to myself, now that would be ridiculous if it was somehow him. But even as I said this to myself, I knew for a fact it wasn't him. Except that it was. Sure enough, a moment later, the stall door opens and out comes the bassist, still on the phone with his girlfriend. I'm finishing pissing, so he is behind me washing his hands. I turned around and I see him still on the phone, and he's now walking out of the bathroom. I don't even think that he noticed me in there with him, but at this moment, I was absolutely stunned. And I'm left there in the bathroom by myself wondering what the fuck just happened? I end up telling him and everyone about this when I got back to the van. And he also explains that he went through a different series of strange events, but I can't remember the details of his side of the story anymore. All I know is that it was simply physically impossible that he could have been in the bathroom before me when I literally saw him walk out into the distance towards the van, and I immediately head inside to the bathroom. Sorry if this was overly long, but I wanted to be succinct as possible about how it went down.
Now, I already posted something on this subreddit about time freezing, but hear me out. The year was 1999 and I was in Los Angeles at that time. I didn't live there, I just wanted to check it out. I was driving around the town looking at the buildings, and it was 8:15 p.m., and I was driving in the wrong direction. To get back to where I wanted to go, I had to drive through South Central. It was pretty quiet there for about 5 minutes, when suddenly, I heard loud bangs, which probably weren't gunshots, but it sounded like them. I heard cars honking and tires squeaking, and screams, but nobody was hurt. I know because I drove there to take a look, which was actually a bad idea. Because long story short, some guys chased me around when I did that. So I went downtown of Los Angeles and it was quiet. Which seemed pretty strange because it was just 8:33 p.m. and I was in a huge town. I started to panic and then started to drive faster than before. I went from a 25 and a 40 to a 40 in a 40. And then I saw cars, but they didn't move. I parked my car while having a panic attack, and then I fell asleep. When I woke up, everything was back to normal. The only difference that it was 8:15 p.m. again. And no, it was not a Mandela effect. I went to the next 7-Eleven store and bought myself a can of soda, and I drank it, and while sitting on a bus stop, I fell unconscious. And when I woke up, it was 8:15 p.m. again. And this freaked me out. I went on the highway and drove from LA to San Diego, and I checked in a motel and slept there. The next morning I wake up, completely exhausted, sweating, and my body is full of that soda from yesterday. I go outside and checked out again, and I drove back to LA. I visited my friend there who I didn't plan on visiting, and I stayed there for 3 days. I talked about it with him, and he seemed very confused, which I can understand because I told him some alien bullshit or whatever, and he says that I was drunk. The only thing was, I don't drink. I never tried, never did, and I won't. And then I went back home. I just never talked about it again, and nothing happened until 2004.
I Lost My Daughter Glitch by Mafiti. Hey, so this just happened and I have an eerie and weird feeling that something is not right. So first let me explain the placement of my house. When you come in, There is a little hall, and in front of you is the bathroom. Then you go to the left, and you have a small kitchen. Then a door, then it's my bedroom, but it's so big I turned it into a living room. Right next to my bedroom is my daughter's bedroom. Everything is in an L shape. I, 24, live alone with my daughter, 2, and our 2 pet bunnies. So I had lunch with my daughter, and it started getting cold and dark, so we went to my bedroom and closed the door to the kitchen. She always plays in my bedroom and her bedroom that are directly connected. I was reading some Reddit stories while I listened to her making her usual noises, talking to her, singing, asking me something, moving toys around, the basic child noises. Suddenly, the house goes completely silent. And after a few seconds, I think that maybe she's being mischievous and doing something that she isn't supposed to, like all kids do. So I check on her since I didn't see her from where I was lying. Let me make it clear that there is no way for her to go outside without opening the creaky door to the kitchen that is in front of me, and she would never try to do it since the lights in the kitchen are off and she's scared of the dark. So I look everywhere in her bedroom and start calling her name. Nothing. Check in her closet. Nothing. Under her bed. In her little play tent. In her toy chest. Under my bed. The sofa. My desk. Everywhere. Nothing. She is nowhere to be seen. Let's mention that she has never tried to hide and stuff like that. She comes when she's called, so I started to freak out. I knew I didn't hear her leave my bedroom to the kitchen, but I checked anyways. Nothing. The bathroom. Empty. Now, I'm starting to panic and go outside again and check everything over. While I'm in her bedroom, I hear crying from outside and look through my daughter's window to see her outside, laying on the ground, only wearing a t-shirt. Not the t-shirt she was previously wearing, but one of the t-shirts she does have. I ran outside, almost falling over, but when I opened the door, silence. She wasn't there. There was no crying. Silence again. I go outside and check everything and can't find her or any trace of her being there. Defeated, I go back upstairs ready to call 911 when I go to my bedroom and see her calmly playing with some blocks in her bedroom. She was wearing her clothes as if she'd never disappeared. The t-shirt I saw her wearing outside was in her wardrobe, neatly folded. I'm still in shock and sitting, staring at my daughter, feeling like if I blink, she might disappear again.
This happened in Sanford, Florida in 2021 by Lake Monroe at the Veteran Memorial there, which has a lot of places to sit. It was around 2 a.m. or so, and me and my friend were sitting near a lake enjoying the full moon. We were sober, and we don't do drugs at all. We spoke about all sorts of things that night, and how we tend to see a lot of crazy things in that particular location after 12 a.m. So, we are sitting there, and I look up at the moon, and I notice a dark spot on the full moon. And I thought it was just a random dark cloud. I pointed it out to my friend, and at this point, we were both looking up. But this dark spot on the moon starts to spread, and it looks like cracks. The moon was cracking, and big pieces of the moon started to separate from it. We were both staring in disbelief, trying to make sense of what was happening. It felt like it shouldn't be happening. It felt wrong, like a glitch. We were not scared, just a bit confused. It felt off and very strange because the magnitude of what was happening never hit us. We keep looking up at the moon that has completely fractured and separated all within 4 minutes or so. And as we keep looking up, we see everything that happened being put in reverse. Just like if someone had hit a reverse button to all that had happened. We were seeing the moon get put back together. All this happened within 2 minutes, so the whole ordeal only took about 6 to 7 minutes or so. After this, we looked at each other and came to the conclusion that we had just witnessed a glitch in the matrix. And we were the only ones that saw it. No one online in our area was talking about it, and to this day, that was the most insane thing that I have ever seen. And now looking back at it, I have no idea what we did after that whole ordeal. It's like it's veiled or blocked from our memory. My friend feels the same way. I wonder if anyone else saw it. This is the story of a mysterious scar in my left arm, specifically in the biceps. So about 7 years ago, my best friend told me a story about how he got a scar in his left arm when he tried to drift his quad and some broken glass, and one of the pieces flew to his arm, causing the scar. At that time, I didn't have the scar myself. So 2 or 3 weeks later, his sister told me the true story of how he got the scar. He was in his room in a very sketchy house, and a big wardrobe with some glass windows fell on him without any explanation, and in the intent to stop the wardrobe, he got the scar. So I laughed at him about why he lied about it, but he didn't seem receptive to laughing to that story, so I let it go. I can't tell when, but in the following years, I got the same scar in my arm without any explanation. I don't know the exact moment when I saw it. It was very strange. Like I knew why I had it, but I couldn't remember why or how. I just accepted that I had it. The other day, 2 months ago, I was with my girlfriend and we were talking about the scars and I wanted to show her the scar, but I couldn't find it. I started to panic, thinking it was in the other arm, or it was just my imagination. I was overwhelmed for at least 1 hour because of it. This last week, it reappeared, or I just noticed it. It was with other small scars all around, and I really don't know what to conclude from this story. This happened about 15 years ago, but we still talk about it and wonder what happened. It was New Year's Eve and we were with a group of friends. Some suggested to play Party and Co. For those who do not know the game, it's a board game where you play in teams and draw cards. With one category, you have to draw, sing, create, etc., depending on what's on the card, if I remember that correctly. I had never played the game before, and even after that, and really did not know what the rules and the goal of the game was. Our friend said, "Just start, you'll figure it out while playing." So, partners could not be in the same team, so I was in a team that waited on their turn. It was my girlfriend's turn. Now she is my wife. She drew a card, and she also had no idea what the game was. She looked at it and without realizing, I said from across the room, "She's wondering how to portray Lambic," a famous but very random and old Belgian comic character. My wife looked at me annoyed, sighed, and put the card back. She drew a new card and it was only then someone asked what was up. She said, "Well, he revealed what was on the card." And our friend said, That's not possible. He's across the room. They took the card and the assignment was exactly as I said it. We all freaked out, and it still puzzles me how I knew the exact text on the card without even knowing that portraying was even one of the assignments. And besides that, out of every person, object, and anything, I chose Lambic, who is, like I said, very random and has no role or meaning in any of our lives. My fiancé and I live in a small 3-bedroom apartment with my sister and our dog Champ. Our floor plan has our living room and bathroom on opposite sides of the apartment, with our kitchen right in the middle. Anyway, this happened a few weeks again during that super bad heat wave, and our AC had just broke. My sister wasn't home and my fiancé and I were eating some ice cream in the kitchen, just trying to beat the heat. Now, Champ has had this weird habit lately of hanging out in the bathroom and peeing in our bathtub. I assumed it was to cool off on the cold bathroom tiles, and I didn't think much of it, because I'd rather him pee in the tub than on our furniture. My fiancé, however, does not like the idea of Champ peeing in our tub. She thinks it's gross. Well, anyway, we were eating our ice cream, and we had heard what sounded like paws walking around in our bathtub. For the record, there is nothing in our bathroom, or our apartment for that matter, that would be able to reproduce the sound of a dog's little paws scratching around in a bathtub. Well, my fiancé yells out for Champ to get out of the bathtub, but there's no Champ to be found. My fiancé gives me that do something look, so I yell out Champ's name. And all of a sudden, we hear the sound of Champ's collar rattling around and the pitter-patter of his feet coming towards us as he emerges from the living room. My fiancé and I stare at each other in a Nosferatu from SpongeBob moment. So, who was in the bathroom? We both walk over to inspect the bathroom, and there's nothing in there. What we heard was unmistakable. I mean, we both heard it, and there wasn't any type of background noise or music or TV playing in the background that we could have mistaken for it. Our walls aren't paper thin, so it couldn't have come from our neighbors. We don't have rodents or pests, and the only thing that I can think of is maybe it could have been a mouse or something. But even that doesn't make any sense. There are no signs of mice droppings anywhere in our house. And what would even be the odds of a single mouse coming and going? Plus, no way a mouse or even a rat would be heavy enough to make such a loud noise in the tub. And here are the top comments for my last video. Welcome to Miss Creepy Tales Riddle Time. If you know the answer, feel free to leave it in the comments. And the winner gets to be featured in the next video. With pointed fangs I sit and wait. With piercing force I dole out faith. Over bloodless victims I proclaim my might. I can eternally join with a single bite. What am I? Hello everyone, it's your creepy sister here. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate each and every one of you. But I would also like to thank my amazing patrons, my top tippers, and my dearest channel members. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it with all of my heart. If you want to support the channel further, you could also choose to become a patron, a tipper, or a channel member. But remember, it's appreciated, but never a requirement. I would also like to announce that we have merch now. The link is in the description of the video, along with all my other social media links, like my Discord server, Twitter, Instagram, and others. You can connect with me and send your stories there. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and comments are highly appreciated. And remember, your fear feeds me.